Hello, everyone. Welcome to this podcast from the Light Review. We're going to be talking about circadian lighting again, you might say. But this time it's more to do with what we're calling Circadian PLUS. The more we learn about the circadian cycle, the more we start to understand that really we've only been scratching the surface. We may think that we've been doing absolutely fine with 6,500 Kelvin daytime lighting, but there's more to life than that. I'd like to introduce you to Melanie Lovatt of Headrest. And Headrest is a sleep mentoring consultancy service. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that would be fair, John. That would be fair.
I'm nothing if not fair. And the reason I'm talking to Melanie, who's not strictly speaking a lighting person, so what are we doing there, is that there's only so far we can go with our lighting. Yes, we can put 2-channel tunable white 6,500 Kelvin, 2,200 Kelvin lighting into a space. But it's not until we actually get down to how we as human beings actually act and perform that we can really start to see the benefits of, so what we're calling Circadian PLUS. So, Melanie, just for starters, why is sleep so important?
Well, John, sleep basically restores and replenishes every single cell and system in the body. I mean, everything. So it puts everything right overnight. It sorts out, it helps us to regulate our emotions. It replenishes and restores our physical health, our mental health, our memory and learning capacity, our energy, and our weight and appetite control. So it literally does everything.
It sounds as if the body's working quite hard while it's asleep.
Very hard. That's a very good point. It does a lot of incredibly important tasks while we sleep.
Okay. So how did you get into this? I mean, we all sleep one way or another.
Yeah.
Was this something that was of particular concern for you personally?
Well, it's a good question because it actually didn't used to be a concern to me at all. In fact, I blatantly disregarded my sleep and went out of my way to burn the candle at both ends for decades. And that all changed in 2008 when my marriage unraveled and I found myself shouting and criticizing my young children for ridiculously petty reasons like putting their shoes in the wrong place. And I was causing a lot of friction, and I realized that I needed to sort myself out and learn how to. It was because I was anxious and exhausted and sleeping badly, and I needed to sort myself out and learn how to calm down and how to sleep well so that I could be a good parent for my children.
If we go back to 2008, I don't remember there being much research, much written about sleep. Was this just a solo journey of your own to try and find a way through this, or did you find help on the way?
I did find help from various sources, and we are coming out of the era of shall I call it the Maggie Thatcher era, where 4 hours of sleep a night seemed possible, and we are, very much reversing that story now, so that a good night's sleep is considered invaluable now.
How consistent? I don't know if that's the right word. How consistent is a sleep pattern? We all sleep. I mean, even Thatcher slept for 4 hours a night, hanging upside down from a beam. But some of us sleep longer. I mean, are there standard patterns, or are we all absolutely unique in the way that we approach sleep and gain our sleep?
Well, John, like as with most things, we are all different. We're very, very different people, and our sleep patterns vary from from you and I will have different sleep patterns. Different cultures will have different sleep patterns. And also, our own sleep pattern will change as we grow older.
Right.
So this, one size fits all really doesn't work with sleep. And it's also, a lot of people get very anxious that they don't fit into this one size fits all pattern. And that, of course, is detrimental. If people think they're not, I'm not getting my 8 hours sleep, then it can be easy to get anxious about that.
This is the worried well Fitbit syndrome, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, in terms of the worried well, because there's an awful lot of snake oil out there looking to people who've possibly got a little bit more money than sense and are involving themselves in therapies, small t in inverted commas therapies. But this seems to be fundamental. This whole sleep arrangement, this idea of learning how to take yourself away from the worries of the world for that period of time, for those 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
But none of us escape this. We all need to learn our patterns.
We do. We need to learn what works for us and build a routine. A routine is absolutely fundamentally the one most important thing anyone can do to improve their sleep.
Okay, so when I look back at, I lean into my own industry and I say, we've now got 2,200 Kelvin LED chips, and isn't that fun? That's not the whole story. That all we're doing there is sort of doing a little bit of set design, and the idea that we are not directing our clients, but our clients need some kind of direction, and I think that's what Headrest is doing, isn't it?
Yep, we Headrest basically helps people to maximize their sleep so that it's beneficial through helping with stress and anxiety control, and also through helping create routines. There are many different reasons why we don't sleep, and every single person I see has a different story to tell and different things in their life that affect them. And basically, Headrest helps to manage all those things.
Okay, so are there clues as to how we live our lives and how we could improve our sleep preparation for all of us? Things that we shouldn't do, things that we should do.
Absolutely. I mean, the big thing is, as we've mentioned, screens. Screens are stimulating. As you know, there's a debate out there whether it's the blue light or the stimulation. But at the end of the day, watching screens before bed isn't a good idea. And also, eating late at night doesn't work. Drinking alcohol late at night is not a good idea, as some people are super sensitive to caffeine, other people not. I'm lucky enough that I'm not sensitive to caffeine. But some people won't. My daughter won't drink it after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And certain that, having a wind down routine every night lets your body know that it's bedtime. And the same wind down routine, it's got to work for you. You've got to enjoy it. Maybe a warm shower an hour before bed. It lets the body know what you're doing, and also it helps your core. In order to fall asleep, our core body temperature needs to drop a tiny bit, and bizarrely, the warm shower helps with that, because it helps draw the heat away from the core and out through the hands, the feet, and the head.
Okay, I'm glad that you've gone that way, because this conversation starts with a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
Don't read screens. Don't look at your emails. Don't watch horrible television. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't drink the alcohol. Don't smoke. Da, 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 da. But what we need to do is just say, whatever our process is, it needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be something that we look forward to doing.
Absolutely. And a nice routine where we're relaxing. You know, it doesn't have to be long. It could be listening to soft music, having a warm shower, doing some gentle stretches, doing some reading, whether from a Kindle or a book. Again, more conflicting evidence there. All these things help our body to know what we're doing. And if you do that every night, then that is very helpful. So that, you know, that try and go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning, even at weekends.
Okay.
That is the number one thing, and have a wind down routine.
The wind down's important, isn't it? I mean, what I'm thinking is on TV, most sort of semi-violent police procedurals are on at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And finish at 10.
Just in time for the 10 o'clock news.
Just in time for the 10 o'clock news, where there is even more devastation. And then you go to bed.
Yeah.
And inside there is no wind down.
No.
So is there a latest time that we should be watching the end of a police procedural? Do you think 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock?
John, I think, again, we're all different, and this has to be actually doable and sustainable for people. So I think the more, it's very well to say, no more TV after 8 p.m, but actually, are you going to do that? If you bring it back half an hour to start with, try that out, and then maybe try an hour or an hour and a half of wind down time. We're all different, and it's better to do something than nothing, and it's got to be realistic.
Okay, so we're setting ourselves a time to go to bed.
Yeah.
And before that, we're setting a time as a wind down time, and that defines the last of our exciting evening's entertainment, whatever it might be.
And that, you see, you've used that word exciting. This is the point. We don't want it to be exciting.
Oh, okay.
So even when I read a book at night, I would choose it specifically to be not too interesting, because I know I can stay up till 2 a.m. reading a gripping novel. So I have my bedtime books, which are gently interesting. Okay. I look forward to them, but I don't get excited.
Okay. So in the same way that you're more or less caffeine immune, I usually fall asleep with a book falling on my face.
Right.
So that's probably not doing me too much damage. Thank you very much. Is there anything, just before we finish, is there anything from your side that you wish that people like me would be talking about?
My third thing that tip I was going to say was catch morning daylight in the morning. And, you know, first thing when you get up, within the first hour, to go outside, get 10 minutes of sunlight on your way to the car or on the way to work. And I wonder if that could be woven into what lighting people talk about and new developments. And I wanted to ask, what are your new developments at the moment in terms of LED lighting?
Right. Okay. Well, I think we might be seeing some common ground here, because the one thing that shouts out loud and clear in all of these conversations is that early morning natural light is the best thing that you can have. Now, we've been talking about it in circadian terms as being blue rich, high intensity lighting. Fine. We've now started the conversation, and this is in a sense is where Circadian PLUS comes in, that there is a huge infrared content that we haven't been thinking about with LEDs. There is no infrared naturally in an LED, but there was always infrared in an ordinary tungsten light bulb. So we've actually gone backwards. So the people who are doing the research into infrared, and infrared is vitally important for our physical health. Part of that research now is to say, how do we do that? How can we bring that infrared back into the artificial environment? Because what we're trying to do all the time is to mimic the natural order of things. We're never going to get there. It's called outside. You go outside. It's the cheapest thing to do.
Yeah.
Go outside. But for those of us who cannot get outside, we are trying to fill in the gaps as best as we can. So yes, the idea that you get up and you go outside and you get that blast of good natural daylight, we're with you on that one. Absolutely. And the reinforcing the bodily functions of what mitochondrial infrared will do is we're with you on that one as well.
That sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yes, thank you very much. And so the sleep wake cycle for us is now a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea of being able to drop our lighting level down, both in color and in intensity at night, that is becoming a real thing, and more manufacturers are saying, yes, we've got a version of that. Yes, we can do that. So I feel that we're heading in the right direction.
Sounds absolutely fascinating. I look forward very much to seeing what all these new light bulbs look like.
And so do I. And thank you all for staying with us. You know where we are. If you want to talk to me, you know how to find me. I'd like to say thanks to Melanie Lovatt of Headrest, and we'll see you out there. Thanks and goodbye.